right, it's the Monday after the Steelers versus Bengals matchup that saw the Steelers allowing 37 points in their own house to a not-so-healthy Bengals offense when we had a very healthy Steelers defense.
And roster in general.
Right.
We allowed 3 touchdowns to the Bengals' backup running back, Samaje Perine.
Right. And, we've been thinking about it all night and the early hours of Monday today. Something we got to get off our chest, and this isn't really the first time we've been thinking about it. It's been slowly creeping up on us as the year goes on. And I'm not going to lie, even the past couple years, as we keep seeing games like this, like yesterday, we keep seeing defeats like yesterday. We keep seeing a healthy defense with how much money invested in it, allowing how many points in their own house.
Pretty much the same outcomes for, how many years?
How many years? We lost 37-30. Now, the Steelers scored 30 points. They're one of the few times they've done it since probably 2020. Not many times we've done it, but every time we have done it, we've lost that game. You score 30 but still lose. Now, granted, most of those points, the 30 points that the offense has scored in the past couple of years, has been mostly due to the team being in garbage time. So you don't really have to count that, but even so, that's still pretty bad when you think about it, that we only score 30 points because it's in garbage time. And we still lose. That's bad, man. And I really, it's starting to become exposed is Mike Tomlin.
He's the man in charge. He's the man that leads this team. He's one of the main people that builds this team.
Yep.
And, it's blatantly obvious the Steelers are not a great football team. They're not even a decent team.
No, they are bottom 10 and arguably bottom 3.
But Mike Tomlin is a very vocal head coach. He always has been. He's a guy of many, many words and many expressions.
Yes, and
he tends to be one of the more aggressive head coaches in recent NFL history.
But also one of the more beloved head coaches. How many times do you see players saying, I want to work for Mike Tomlin?
He's the man that leads the team. He's the man that is coaching this football team.
But when you think of all the years past, we keep seeing defeats like we did yesterday. We're allowing 30 or more points on our own house. We have to come back from behind, which allows the offense to score 30 in garbage time. We're seeing heart-crushing, bad, terrible losses, especially when a game like yesterday was so winnable. We're seeing underachieving. We have how much money invested in a healthy defense and still allow what we allowed all game yesterday.
Yep.
It wasn't just yesterday. Like we said, it's been year after year. But the main guy that's remained in charge from year after year has been, obviously, Coach T. And we may be late to the party when we say that. We probably are. I know a lot of you guys are probably saying, join the club. Late bloomers, I suppose. But it's been something that definitely crossed our mind for the past couple of weeks and even years. It's just obviously those issues have been swept under the rug because of the obvious. Never having a losing season. He had Ben Roethlisberger his entire coaching career. And now, his first year without Ben, he's obviously going to have his first losing season, which was anticipated.
But this is a different kind of bad. It's not even normal bad.
No, but it's bad because it's evident that the team is so bad, yet you refuse to make any changes and adjustments on either side of the football. It was bad enough that he already band-aided every tiny little situation by pretty much promoting the guys underneath.
And he's done this for years. Even when he had Ben Roethlisberger, even in Ben's final years, the outcome we saw yesterday is the same outcomes that we've seen even with Big Ben.
Versus the Chargers, versus the Browns in the playoffs, versus the Vikings, I think it was last year as well. Again, the offense coming back in garbage time. But that's mostly due to the defense putting us down by such a huge deficit. A healthy defense at that. Which I don't understand because he's obviously a defensive head coach.
Yeah. That's how he got his foot in the NFL.
And typically, when you look at Steelers head coaches and the years prior, they're normally defensive minds. Cowher was, and now Tomlin is. So it kind of fits for him to be a defensive coach and to play head coach, which is why they pretty much grabbed him when Cowher retired. But You think someone with a good defensive mind and a former defensive coordinator would have a very good game plan for how many years now? But you notice the game plan is very similar and we see the same errors on defense. a lot of soft zone. The depth is bad, and even the coordinators are rough. Ever since LeBeau, he has promoted Keith Butler and now Terrell Austin. But we've even heard about Keith Butler where Tomlin was the one calling the shots.
Yeah, according to Keith Butler, when he shortly after he retired, he mentioned, I never once drew up a defensive game plan. I would have loved to, but I never did. It was always Coach T.
So Butler just played the role so Tomlin could do the calls. And now the same thing's happening with Austin.
And now you see what's going on with the offense ever since Todd Haley's been gone. He's promoted Randy Fichtner, who was our quarterback coach for how many years, became the OC, wasn't good at his job.
No.
And then we promoted again our quarterback coach that replaced Randy Fichtner and Matt Canada. He's not good.
He is not good.
He needs to go.
Any means. And you would think, like, the rankings that this offense has, it would warrant a firing, right? For any NFL team. Not for the Steelers for some reason. And Canada's got to go. We know that. He's not going to go till the season. No changes are going to happen until the offseason, which the sooner the better at this point. No changes are going to happen. But the changes that we're probably going to see are the changes we've seen the past couple years, which has been in-house promotions, where those experiments have failed, which is why we keep seeing the same results, the same type of losses, the same errors, the same mistakes year after year after year. And again, the main guy that's remained in charge after each mistake every year has been the guy in charge, Coach T.
Yeah, he's the one that makes those decisions. He's the one that makes the final answer when it comes to signing players, re-signing players, drafting players,
and of course
promoting coaches.
Yeah. And even after all these issues this year, we already know the issues we've seen in the past, and they're being more evident this year without, certain arguments to pretty much sweep that under the rug for Tomlin. Now that he doesn't have that, he doesn't have the never-losing season, he doesn't have Ben Roethlisberger, he doesn't have this and that, it's becoming a lot more evident now. And call us late bloomers for thinking about it, but it's really becoming exposed this year for Mike Tomlin. Now, we're not anticipating him to go anywhere. The Steelers don't fire coaches. Here he signed an extension, I think it was last year.
Yeah.
So we're not anticipating a head coach change. We're not exactly saying we need a head coach change, although you could argue we kind of already have that guy underneath the system. The system, which I hate in-house promotions, but if there was one that makes sense, it'd be Brian Flores. Whether that is for defensive coordinator or head coach.
And we heard nothing but positive and great things about Brian Flores.
And that's another thing that doesn't make sense with this defense, especially seeing what happened yesterday. You got a three-headed dog monster for a defensive coaching staff.
Yeah.
Terrell Austin, Brian Flores, and Mike Tomlin. And we still allowed 37 with a healthy defense against a not-so-healthy
without
Bengals
their
offense.
Best playmaker.
Pretty much. In our own house.
It's been going on for several years.
It has.
The same outcome. And even players that we face have been very vocal. Saying, it's pretty obvious what the Steelers are doing. We know what they're doing. How many times has that been said over the course of, 2-3 years now? Even our own players have been saying it.
Yep.
They've been more vocal this year about it than any other year. Deontay said it. Kenny Pickett said it. Najee Harris, I'm sure, has said it. It continues to happen and it will only continue to happen.
Which it infuriates me a little more because there's zero desire for any adjustments to be made on either side of the football. When players aren't doing good, there's no benching, there's no sub guys. Like, for example, Arthur Millette. Yesterday, terrible. He's our worst cover corner. He is. He's good in situational football, as a nickel blitz, in the run defense. That's all he's good for, which is probably why he's a slot guy, because that's what we need in a slot guy. But he sucks as a cover guy.
Yeah.
You figured they would sub someone in like a Casey, or put Sutton inside, put Pierre outside, or even get a Trey Norwood involved in the slot. But no adjustments whatsoever, and we got brutalized all game. Did the defense. And of course for the offense, less said the better. We already know year after year. No adjustments, and even when he was asked, is there going to be any coordinator change, he said no. Nothing. No changes.
Not this year. Maybe next year. Maybe that's when the Steelers are going to start this rebuild.
I hope that this season is a huge eye-opener for Mike Tomlin. Because, again, he had the non-losing season. He had the the quarterback to pretty much back up all the errors that he was suffering from, which is being more evident this year.
Yeah.
Now that he doesn't have any of that, I hope this is a huge eye-opener for Tomlin.
But my thing is, why not get a head start?
I agree.
Why wait? What's the point of waiting?
There is no point in waiting, man.
We're doing the same stuff week in and week out in every category, even on defense. We're pretty much dead last, if not bottom 3.
The season's already over, so what is the wait for doing anything? What's the wait for? Do it now. They're not going to.
But even he's going to wait, and my worry is he's going to continue to do the same stuff that he's done for several years now.
And if we get exactly that in the offseason, if we get like a Mike Sullivan promoted, if we promote from within house that doesn't make sense or it doesn't fit the job that he's suited for, we're going to anticipate the exact same thing that we've seen pretty much the last, how many years?
Yeah, 5 years now, pretty much. It feels like it.
Where the team is just underachieved, and we've seen the same thing over and over, week after week. We keep repeating ourselves. Steelers Nation sounds like a broken record because all we see is the same old Steelers. Every week is stressful Steelers football. Nothing is changing. There's no adjustments whatsoever. When you know for dang sure the team is terrible and you have to make changes, but you don't. So
he's stubborn. He's complacent.
I don't get it. I really don't. I hope this season is a huge eye-opener for Tomlin because, believe me, I still love Coach T.
And we know for a fact he's not going anywhere.
No, he's not. So we have to ride with Coach T, but I hope this is something that just wakes Tomlin up and saying, you know what? What I've been doing the last how many years now, since Haley left, since Arians left, since LeBeau left, everything I've been doing and promoting within house and just bidding with what I have hasn't worked.
No. And it will not work.
He needs to give the keys to an actual defensive coordinator and go out and sign a proper offensive genius to help Kenny Pickett and the offense in general. That's what he needs to do.
You can even say the same on defense. I don't think Terrell Austin's going to get fired. I don't think he's going to be let go of his job after 1 year. But I do feel like Tomlin is the one calling the fucking plays on defense.
He is.
Butler said it for how many years?
That's why he promoted Austin. And
so
we all anticipate that. We said it in the offseason. But good Lord, man, it's just it's becoming so much more obvious this year without everything to back him up from prior years. And again, call us late bloomers, call us late to the party. This is something we've been thinking about week after week throughout this year and even in years past. But now he has nothing to back him up for any possible excuses. Now this is really exposing Mike Tomlin and his true errors, and I hope this is an eye-opener as we move forward. We're not anticipating no changes throughout the rest of the season, none whatsoever, so we're going into every game just be like, whatever. We might win, we might not. We're just going to expect the same Steelers team every week.
Yeah.
But next year, once the offseason hits, Tomlin's got to change his motto. He's got to change the way he does business, the way he does game planning, his football mindset, everything. Because we know he's not going anywhere. And honestly, this year was a big season for Tomlin to see where he stood as an NFL coach and where he stood after the post-Ben life. Now we're starting to see the prior issues become exposed, like I said. Next year is going to be the biggest year for Mike Tomlin. Because can he change what he's been doing the past couple years? Can he change his fuck-ups?
The problem with that is I don't know if he will because he knows his job's secure.
Yeah, that's the
problem. And he knows that Art Rooney II ain't going to do anything about it because Art Rooney II, to me, doesn't really feel like he cares about football. Not like the Chief did. Not like his father Dan did. Because I'll tell you what, those two would not have put up with this shit.
No, he would not.
They would have walked into Tomlin's office and been like, bro, you gotta do something.
Right.
You gotta make changes.
And we know in the past, like, Cowher has had some down years before, right? Cowher had down years before he rebuilt his team up, and that's gonna happen. This is simple NFL football. Every team's gonna have their down years to rebuild and get back to where they were before. this is just another one of those issues for the Steelers. It took 20 years to get there. And Cowher had his fair share of down years as well. He had back-to-back losing seasons. It's going to happen. But the issues with Tomlin are just...
It's the only thing that's been consistent for the Steelers. It's the fact that Tomlin runs the show, and he does what he wants to do. As long as it goes his way, he's going to keep doing what he's doing, and that's my worry for next season. Because I'll tell you what, when Canada leaves, I feel like Mike Sullivan, our quarterback coach currently, will be the OC.
You better not.
I'll tell you what, if that's the case, don't expect any change.
Nope.
Do not expect any freaking change.
And I feel bad for the entire offense. We know like the players need to execute as well. It's not all on coaching. We know that. It's all a collective mess. This entire team's terrible. But it all starts with coaching.
And I don't know how you can execute when you do the same 10 plays every week. Especially when the opposing defense knows exactly what you're doing.
And you know that the defensive game plan isn't working, but you do it all the time. Just like yesterday.
And even when it's not working, they just put their hands up in the air and say, I give up. I'm done.
Wave the white flag. You might as well paint this terrible towel white and wave it. At that point.
Yeah, I tried. We did our goal. We reached our 10 plays. It's over.
So there's going to be no change for the rest of the season because, I mean, there should have already been change. They're not going to do change at this stage of the season. So we somehow, some way have to ride with what we have for the rest of the year. But once the offseason hits, Tomlin's got to change a lot. This was a big season for Tomlin, and now his issues are becoming a lot more exposed than they already were. And next year is going to be the most important season for Tomlin in my book. But we have to get through the rest of this year.
Yeah.
But that's just, we had to get that off our chest. That's something we've been thinking for a while now. But even after that, just after that Bengals game, like that sealed it for us. We're like, man, this is terrible. Just watching that game, we were live with Sermon, shout out to him, and we were just watching. And it was just, it took the life out of us.
That 3rd and 25 play, that draw.
It took the life out of us, and God, it was just a full 60 minutes of stressful Steelers football, as it is every week.
It goes to show the type of mentality the Steelers have and have been having for the past few years.
Yep.
And we want it to change. We would like it to change. It's not going to change this season, but whatever Tomlin can learn from this, take it into next year and adjust.
Yeah.
And get better.
That's all we have to say, man. Let us know your guys' thoughts down below. How you feeling about Coach T? How you feeling about Mike Tomlin? Do you think he needs to go? Otherwise, the preview is actually already up for the STN members. So if you want to see the preview already, just join the SteelTwins Nation. It should be already down on the channel. Just join if you want to. It's already up, but it'll be published tomorrow or Wednesday, one of those 2 days. But
as we get prepared for the Indianapolis Colts on Monday night.
Yeah. Just what can I say? Same shit, different year, right? Same old Steelers.
Let's get ready for another edition of stressful Steelers football.
Let us know your guys' thoughts. See you in the next one. Here we go.
Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Peace!